Can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? Can you clean my room? Can you do my laundry? I don't know how to do that. I can't do that. All he's doing is basically grooming you to be his mom. Hey guys, back with another video. We have a reaction to a Mrs. Candace Owens today. Now I know when you say those two words, a lot of people, especially us of color, shriek a little bit. But I believe in watching a little bit of everything. And there are a lot of things, a lot of points that I do agree with Candace Owens on. And I thought she was talking about, in this video, she's going to talk about red flags in dating. And I think she has some very salient points. So let's jump right in there. You ready?
Yep.
All right.
Who are dating a girl, I would say a red flag is if she says she's a feminist, or she has that whole thing about like, oh, don't open the door for me, or I don't need you to do that, like I don't cook, and she kind of like denigrates femininity. That's just long-term going to be a really big problem. I think when guys are looking at women, they should be looking at the kind of young women that could potentially grow up one day to raise their children. So I always say young feminists are a red flag, and they also shriek louder than anybody I know. If you are a young lady, a red flag.
So let's stop right there. Let's talk about that. I agree. I have run across quite a few young feminists in my day, and they are very difficult to get along with. And when I say feminist, I mean third, fourth wave extreme feminism.
Right.
So we can talk about that a little bit more, but I mean extreme feminism. Like, don't open the door for me, don't look at me, because you're all the
objectifying.
All the crazy stuff, the crazy feminist stuff, the right wing or left wing or whichever wing feminism. Do you agree?
I do.
Yeah, I think it's just, if we go into a relationship and we're adversarial, this is already a problem. It's already a problem. If you're already trying to assume my role, or you don't believe we should even have roles, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's gonna create issues. It's gonna create, because let me tell you something. We talked about this before. Relationships about polarity. It's about polarity. It's about masculine and feminine. And if you have two people who are trying to be masculine or two people trying to be feminine, that's just not gonna work. It's like fighting against each other. It's like a magnet. It's gonna repel.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, what a lot of people are frustrated in relationships because of that.
Yes.
You know, men that have been taught to be that the only way to be in a relationship is to act like a woman. Then you have women that have been taught the only way to be is just to act like men, and that's going to cause a lot of problems in a home where the polarity is off. You know, what do you think?
I agree.
Yeah. If we continue down this road, we're not gonna have families, guys. We're not gonna have families that are gonna stay, that are gonna last forever.
I think that's the scheme.
Yeah, I think that's really a scheme, and it has crept into every demographic, every socioeconomic bracket. It has crept into that this whole narrative that if we don't do things a certain way, then we're wrong. Or if a man asserts himself, then we're wrong. And I think that's not a great way to lead a nation, and I don't think it's a good way to lead a home.
Yeah.
Certainly not. So she's going to get into a red flag for men that I really agree with here, and I think that's something we need to discuss also.
To look out for with men, something that I caught on with later, are guys that can't do anything for themselves and they have to call their moms for everything. Like basic things, like booking a flight, I don't know how to do that, my mom does it for me, or like my mom normally does that. You will find in a relationship that a lot of guys are kind of looking for women to be their mothers later in life. That stuff is super lame. Look out for that red flag.
Good point.
Very good point. And one that many women overlook. Because it is in the woman's nature to want to help. And so you get this guy, and he's funny, he's sweet, he's cute, he's got the little beard or whatever you like things, but he's kind of childish when it comes to the, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? Can you clean my room? Can you do my laundry? I don't know how to do that. I can't do that. All he's doing is basically grooming you to be his mom. And then women fall for it because they want to help and they want him to like them and they want all these things. And then you get into marriage, then you got to come see me. I'm tired of doing everything for him. Well, you did it. You did it for 6 months, a year before y'all got married. And now you mad because you married a toddler?
Do it. I mean,
This is a
it
common
happens
thing.
every time.
It's a common thing, and women do this all the time, and I'm so sick of it. Then you want to get on social media and bash men. I don't want to marry no man that I got to raise too, and he won't help around the house. Well, you should have been vetting him. You married a toddler, so guess what happens? You get toddler outcomes. So when we were dating, what kind of things were you looking for? Or what did you see in me to let you know that I would be a good husband? Because I think I'm a good husband.
You were a great husband. I was looking for maturity, and you definitely possess that. Leadership qualities, compassion, kindness, patience, but assertiveness.
When it came down to the actual execution of me getting stuff done in my own life, what did you see?
When you would say something, you would do it. Mm-hmm. When you would make a plan, you would take the steps actually needed to execute the plan. You wouldn't just wishful think about things. Like, you would actually make those action steps and do it. So.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, we were dating when I was 21. We got married when I was 22.
Yeah.
So this ain't like I was some grown man. These are attributes that happen in good men. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're dating a guy and he's always like, "Can you do that for me?" or he's gonna call his mom for everything, that is a definite red flag. Like Candace was saying, that's a huge red flag. Like, do not ignore that. I don't care how cute you think it is. Him and his mom have this great relationship. It ain't gonna be cute 8 years into a marriage.
It's not.
And 2 kids.
And when mama knows everything.
When mama all up in your Kool-Aid, it ain't gonna be cute. It's not going to be cute at all. Don't marry a man who is too emotionally and physically attached to his mother. Because a man needs to grow and take out on his own. And if he's not doing that, if you're 23, 24, 25, 26 years old, and this boy still can't do basic things for himself, that's a problem, a whole problem. And one that y'all overlook way too often.
Yeah.
Way too often. Then you want to get mad. No, you chose that. We have to tell so many people that.
All the time.
All the time. That's probably the top 3 things that couples come to us for. He don't help with the kids. He don't help around the house. He can't do this. He messes up the clothes when he washes them. He can't do that. Well, guess what? Instead of having all that sex y'all was having before you got married, maybe you should have asked him. Maybe you should have observed his life. Maybe you should have been doing all that stuff for him. Mm-hmm. I know people who, if their wife doesn't make them a meal before they go to work, they won't have food to eat. They don't even think about that. And that's great that their wife make sure they have food. But you, as a man, you should be self-sufficient. You should be self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. The wives have to make their doctor's appointments for them. They have to make the eye appointments for them. They got to make sure they get all this stuff on top of taking care of the kids and taking care of herself. Then he wonders why she don't want to have sex with him and why she's wore out.
Do you think that's codependent behavior on behalf of the man, or do you think it's just manipulation, or a little of both?
I think it's codependent behavior on behalf of the woman.
On behalf of the woman.
Because she wants to know that she's needed. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, it gives her a leg up. And sadly, it gives her something to complain about. Mm-hmm. Because I get to be the victim and I get to play my little violin. Mm-hmm. And then I'm doing all this stuff around here and he doesn't help. And everybody's like, "Oh, Becky, I'm so sorry." Well, you married that man. I ain't no sympathy for you. Yeah. Whatsoever. You married a toddler in a man's body. And now you got toddler outcomes. Now you got 2 kids and a grown man toddler. Don't do it. Yeah. It's a red flag, ladies. Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Vet him. If he can't do things for himself, if he can't problem solve for you, which is one of the 4 P's we talk about, if he can't problem solve for you, then you don't need to marry that man. I don't care how cute he is, how great his sex is. You don't need to be involved. Trust me, the cuteness and the hot sex is going to wear off, and all you're going to be left with is a man baby.
And that's your man baby.
With that, that's enough said.